Gray clouds foreshadow the storm headed our way. What was once Hurricane K is expected to bring rain, strong winds, and possible flooding.
A look at the Doppler shows where the rain is falling right now and where it's headed to next. We're on live Storm Watch coverage. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Juan Fernandez.
And I'm Amy Johnson. This is a special edition of CBS2 and KCAL9 News, streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. The rain is showing up in Orange County now. This is Newport Beach, where you can see some light rain and the winds are kicking up a bit.
And take a look at the rain this time in Coachella Valley. Enough has fallen to soak the ground in Cathedral City.
KCAL9 meteorologist Markina Brown is tracking the storm. Let's get right to her with the latest information. Markina.
Hey there, Amy, Juan, good afternoon. Here we go, continuing to follow what is now, as you said, Tropical Storm K. The latest from the National Hurricane Center is showing that K is turning a little bit further to the left, especially when you compare to yesterday when it was going a little bit further to the north. So with that slight turn in K, it is weakening considerably as it just kind of deals with the cooler waters that it is in and will continue to be in over the next at least 24 to 48 hours. So K is now looking at maximum sustained winds at 40 miles an hour, moving to the northwest at 12. As we track the rain in connection with K here, you could see that parts of the Inland Empire are already dealing with some light rain. We're talking about right along the 15, the 405, right along the 215 here for the folks in San Bernardino. Pomona now getting in on some light rain, even as you said, into parts of Orange County. Anaheim dealing with it. The folks in the Santa Clarita Valley, Oxnard, heads up, LA, you are next to get some of the rain. First, we saw the clouds increase. Maybe some wind started to pick up for you. The next will be the rain. As we go through the next few hours here into the evening, we will watch out for the possibility for some isolated storms as this moisture kind of runs into our very hot, humid air that is already in place. In terms of what kind of rain K could put down for your area, well, let's go through it. If you are in the Orange County area or Inland Empire, you could see up to an inch of rain. The folks in LA and Ventura County coast could see over about a quarter of an inch of rain. Riverside, mountains and deserts up to 4 inches, up to 6 inches along the desert slopes. LA and Ventura County valleys about 3/4 of an inch, while the LA and Ventura County mountains could see up to about 1.5 inches of rain. That's what we're talking about in terms of precipitation. And then we need to talk about the impacts that it'll have on you. Besides the heavy rain and the isolated storms, we could see some flooding. Some of the flooding could come in a flash flood type of way where it comes down really fast and you get flooding because you get under one really good heavy cell. That could happen. Mountains, deserts, portions of the IE, mainly for you. Also, we'll be watching out for high surf, gusty winds. We have high wind warnings in effect, mainly for the folks in parts of the Inland Empire. Those folks could see winds gusting up to maybe 60, 65 miles an hour. And then we have wind advisories that are in effect for others. Those folks could see winds gusting up to 35 miles an hour, which is nothing we don't see, right? We're used to that here in SoCal. Also, we'll watch out for increasing humidity. Here is the fascinating thing about what K is doing, and that is cooling down temperatures. Remember, this system is moving from south to north. Look at the difference it's making in temperatures compared to 24 hours ago. These folks are already wet, already starting to see some of the rain. The folks in San Bernardino are cooler by 20 degrees. They're down by 18 in Riverside and by 20 in Temecula. Now, it is still on the humid side, but that lets you know that it is going to be cooler. Even, I'm proving my point here, getting into tomorrow, we are not talking about triple-digit temperatures for afternoon highs. We're talking about 80s, upper 80s in most places. So yeah, K has been good in the sense that we are going to get the rain that we need. And two, we are busting this heat wave. We will keep you posted and let you know as K progresses through the rest of the day and into the evening. Until then, guys, back to you.
All right, Markina, thanks so much for that update. And speaking of impacts, the storm's strong winds blew trees over in San Diego this morning and took some power lines down with them.
Crews got out there quickly to cut them up and clear them from the roadway.
The rain is bringing a whole new set of challenges for crews on the fire lines of the Fairview Fire.
KCAL9's Tina Ezedine is live in Hemet in Riverside County to continue our team coverage. Tina.
Juan and Amy, this is the state's largest wildfire of the year. So far, more than 27,000 acres have burned. Let me give you perspective of what we're looking at here. This fire first touched off Monday afternoon. To give you perspective, you can see on the mountain most of it burned. That is from Monday. And now over to the southeast, where there is now cloud cover and a little bit of rain. That is where the fire is heading, towards Temecula. Now, for the first fire that has now quadrupled in size by midweek, there is now a triple threat as the state's largest wildfire of the year burns more than 27,000 acres near Hemet. There's certainly a lot going on out here. First, an excessive heat warning, now rain, creating the potential for mudslides, a flood watch as Tropical Storm K moves closer to the Southland, and a high wind warning. On top of the firefighting from the air has now ceased as the weather conditions are changing. Evacuees are eager for any information about their homes.
We had a lot of very forceful winds, 35-mile-an-hour gusts this morning that were pushing the fire to the west. Winds coming out of the east, pushing to the west. So that did create some expansion of the fire.
And I need to find out if my house is up there. It's still standing. I'm really,
You don't know at this point.
frustrating. Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Oh boy. Yeah. But I just, it's like, it's still there. I know it is.
You can hear and you can see how frustrated and sad residents here are as they're just trying to get any information. Firefighters are still struggling to surround the fire and stop it as its torturous trek now moves towards Temecula. This is the Fairview Fire, as it's called, sparked Monday afternoon. And while out here today and now we're starting to see a little bit of rain, some drizzle, it's been on and off a little bit throughout the day. You would think in general that would be a welcome sight for firefighters, but truly it's really just creating some unknown conditions, and that is what is worrisome out here for the firefight, because they just don't know where the winds are going, how much the rain is going to fall. Will it help? Will it create more mudslides? As I mentioned, it's quite a quadruple threat that is going on out here. So the firefighters are just bracing themselves, trying to figure out which way it'll go and which way they will go next. Reporting live in Hemet today, I'm Tina Esdine. Back to you.
All right, Tina, thank you. Well, people along the coast are already feeling the effects of Tropical Storm K.
Let's go to KCAL9's Rena Nakano live now in Seal Beach to show us what's happening there. Rena?
Yeah, what's happening right now, Marquina said it exactly. It is so much cooler than it was earlier today. We were actually sweating out here, but since a couple of hours ago, it's gotten a lot cooler. Right now, it's raining. It just started so. And you could also take a look. Look at the winds there. It started blowing a couple minutes as well. But the big news is what makes this very different are the berms. As of this morning, city crews came out here and created those berms to protect these homes and businesses from flooding over. The Pacific Ocean is creeping into Seal Beach. To stop it, city crews were hard at work near the pier, building berms to prevent flooding.
When we came out and saw the tractors pushing all the sand, that was really a shock to us because it never comes up this high this time of year.
But it was a little too late for the folks closer to the jetty.
We're frustrated.
Brian Kyle and Rosie Ritchie are getting ready for the grand opening of the Beach House Seal Beach, a restaurant and event space right on the sand.
We're looking so forward to this whole thing.
But Friday morning, the parking lot was already flooded over. Kyle was worried the patio was next.
Well, I kept watching the water lines and I was going, uh-oh.
The high tide had pushed past the lifeguard tower and made a murky pond in front of the deck. Immediately, crews began placing sandbags by the chain-linked fence and lifting expensive equipment up onto wood pallets. They say they're doing everything possible to keep the storm from washing away their years-long $2 million investment in their dream business.
We're just staying positive. We want to open Seal Beach's favorite hotspot here on the sand.
We're not going to push back. We're fighting to get this thing open ASAP.
And yeah, back out here live, you could see how close that water got to many of the homes out here. Some of them actually have some sandbags to protect itself, especially that gate right there. But again, this was quite a scary sight this morning. As you can see, the sand, really not much sand anymore. It's really just a muddy mess. The berms are out here to try to protect it, but this is what it's trying to protect it from. Some crews out here just started to get this pump ready just in case that water does go through a failed berm, in case it does flood over. But again, they said that they're not going to be running it until it gets much worse. But as of right now, it is starting to rain a little bit harder, but I can tell you that it's a little bit warmer. There are winds blowing our direction, and also the rain droplets are quite big. Don't know if that has to do anything with the storm, but definitely something that we usually don't see out here in Seal Beach. Live out here in Seal Beach, I'm Rena Nakano. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Rena, thanks. Homeowners living along burn scars in the San Gabriel Valley are hoping the coming rain doesn't set off mudslides.
Yeah, but they are prepared if they do come. KCAL9's Jeff Nguyen is live in Monrovia with how it's going there. Jeff.
Amen. Juan, these K-rails and these boards were brought in after the Bobcat fire scarred the hills up above. Now, the way these work is that they are removable like so that the cars in the driveway can get in and out. But if there's a heavy downpour, these need to be in place to prevent mud, water, and debris from going downhill and straight into that home.
Stephen Callan is making last-minute preparations at his home in Monrovia, where the surrounding hills were burned by the Bobcat fire in 2020. That's him with a hose on his roof. Since then, wooden deflectors and K-rails were installed. The foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains are still scarred as a tropical system moves closer to Southern California.
Obviously, we're still concerned with any potential of flooding, just because until the hillside grows back, we're not going to feel 100% comfortable.
How are those hills holding up?
The Bobcat fire area has had some recovery in the past 2 years, but it's still not fully recovered. We're watching the area because of potential for mudslides.
LA County's Public Works Department has cleared out catch basins along the foothills for months, but they're asking people in downstream communities to pitch in by doing things like making sure garbage cans aren't right up against the curb and getting sandbags in place before the rain starts, and you can find them at LA County fire stations.
Allow some room along your curbs so that the stormwater can flow easily.
Last winter, rain came down in Monrovia, and the K-rails and boards held up. They're expected to be here a few more years.
If they go away sooner, that's great. If it's longer, it's fine too. It's a peace of mind. It's comforting to have some protection here just in case the worst case scenario happens.
And Public Works wants to remind everyone to take it easy on the road if you're going to be driving during the first rainstorm of the season. That's because the roads tend to be very slippery when the oils surface from the pavement. We are live in Monrovia. Jeff Nguyen, KCAL9 News.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much. Of course, we will stay on top of the storm as it moves in and have the very latest coming up on KCAL9 News at 4.
We're always on CBSLA.com and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. More news coming up and the latest on KCAL9 News at 4. So we will see you then.
This has been a CBS2 and KCAL9 News special report. We now return to our regularly scheduled program.